I never am.
Never late for the party. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along. We are waiting on another two people coming in, but we thought we'd just start anyway because we've got Karen back
Hi.
over there, from Festival of the Unexplained. Karen's also a medium and a holistic therapist. Did I get that right?
No, you did, yeah.
Good.
You've been practicing that, haven't you, since last week?
I have. I was sitting all weekend. Holistic. People were looking at me wondering, what's he talking about? Holistic. Standing in Tesco and stuff like that. Holistic. Oh, there's Vonne coming now. Yes. Here we go. There's one of our other guests here. Hi, Doll. We have Vonne.
This isn't working.
Who's slightly late. But we'll let that one go this time.
Let me go. Hi, everyone. Hi, Karen.
Hi, you all right?
I am, if I can get this working properly. Can you hear me there?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Right.
I was all the way from Wishaw. We just start with wishing Karen a belated birthday. I'm not going to tell you her age. Never ask a woman her age.
Oh, everyone knows. It's all right. It's all over Facebook.
All right, I'll let you. What age were you?
40 yesterday.
40 yesterday.
Baby.
One or two too many shandies. She says, and but she's here. Liz says, well, see, I'd agree with that, Liz. I wouldn't put her anywhere over like 26, but however.
You're too kind.
Liz from
too kind or a creep?
Creep.
I'll give you a compliment. You call me a creep. That's nice, isn't it? Liz is from Wishaw as well. That's in Scotland. That's two Scottish people. So how are you, ladies? I know how Karen is.
I'm fine. I'm good.
You're good.
Hi, Liz.
So how do you two ladies know each other?
Online.
Yeah, online, really.
Hello.
Our last guest
Rigger
from Paranormal Investigations Group. I got it right this time.
How are yours, all right?
We're
Fine,
good.
thank you.
Rigger, this is Karen. And
hi.
Top and on down the bottom. Karen turned 37 yesterday. And she's got a bit of a hangover.
I'm not hanging now. I was about 5 hours ago. I was still recovering. I went and had a Mackey's and sorted myself out.
You do right.
So,
moving on very quickly.
Moving on very, very quickly. Aye. How do you two ladies know each other? Sorry, Rigger. I lost track there.
It's online on Facebook, isn't it? In sharing each other's things in posts and everything, just helping out each other, because that's what you do. That's what we all do.
Sharing.
Sharing is caring, as I always say.
Yes.
That's a good thing. I know Facebook can be a pain at times, I suppose there's a good side and a bad side to everything, but the paranormal is good. That's how you meet people. That's how Rigger and I met as well, through Facebook. That's why
it's good and bad points, but that's one of its good points.
That is one of its good points, and it's a good way to, meet people, share experiences and what have you. So last time you were on, Karen, I think we were on for about 2 hours. We never actually asked you any paranormally questions. I don't know if that's a word, is it?
We never got round paranormally. We never got round to it, did we?
No. So, how did you? Just I'll put this comment up. There's Lou joining us as well. Hi, Doll.
Hello.
I don't know who she's calling the pest, because she's got Rigger, hello, pest, earlier. So I don't know if it's you, Rigger, or me.
I think it's probably you, Scott. I'll go with you.
I'll go with you.
Can you rephrase that a wee
Why
bit
not?
for once, please? Aye, so, Karen, you're a medium. You were telling us the last time that you first discovered your gift. How did that affect you when you discovered that you could do basically what you can do?
Just cracked on with it, really.
Your lifestyle.
It wasn't so much until I started doing like the paranormal side of things that things changed a lot and my abilities changed a lot and I progressed more and learned more and realized I could do a lot more than I realized, because obviously you tap into different things, don't you, when you're on an investigation? It's completely different. Like, you know, if I was sitting there talking to somebody and giving a reading on a one-to-one or doing platform or whatever, that's one thing. But going out on an investigation, I felt, for me, it was like a massive test, especially when you're out with the public. The first investigation I ever did, I went as a member of the public, and then straight after that one investigation, I joined a team. Well, I was offered the chance to join a team. So the next time I did an investigation, I was actually running a group.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was interesting, shall we say? Because I was like, I don't know what we are allowed to talk about. I know what we are allowed to say. How much information you're supposed to give? Are you meant to give any information? Because people are there for an experience and a personal experience, not listen to me ramble on about what I'm picking up on or experiencing or whatever. So it was a massive learning curve then.
True enough, Karen, you're a medium, you're doing an event, you've got maybe 20, 30 people there. And so, I don't know, is it better to let them find out for themselves, or for you to say, you know, there's a guy over in that corner with a hat on, or, you know, whatever?
It depends. It really depends. I tend to talk to the guests before we even get started. So I speak to the guests and find out basically what it is they're there for. They're there for a personal experience. If I pick up on anything or get information or sense anything, see anything, in whatever, do they want me to tell them? Do they not want me to tell them? If I'm getting... I have my first investigation I ever did at the end of the night, because like I said, I wasn't 100% sure of like what or how much you do or don't say. Because obviously everyone's different, and I worked for somebody else then. It wasn't my team. But at the end of the night, I landed up giving readings, and I think we were there for an hour and a half longer than what we were supposed to be, because we had people coming through during the evening. But it was, one of them was very, very personal reading for this lady. And I said, look, I'll talk to you after, but I can't promise they'll still be here and they still want to communicate at that point. But I'll talk to you after, like, you know, when everyone's gone. And I'm glad I did, because the person I brought through for her, I don't remember the information, but I do remember the person I brought through for her, they'd only been gone 4 weeks. And it was in, how can I put it without actually... They crossed over through their own doing, shall we say, to put it politely.
Right,
so it was that's so I'm so glad that I actually waited till afterwards and then spoke to her, because like I say, it was still very raw, it was still very fresh, and it wasn't until after I gave her all the information she said that okay, well, I'll tell you who it is, and everything you described was correct, so on, so on, so on. And then she then she let out the little gem that it actually only been gone literally 4 weeks. They'd only just recently had his funeral and everything. And I was like, wow. And you're on an investigation like 4 weeks later, and I've told you all this stuff. And she said, well, thank you, because I needed it. I said, I hope you didn't mind that I cut you off earlier in the evening and said I wasn't going to talk to you in front of everyone else. And she said, no, that's fine, because he was a private person and he wouldn't have wanted you to do that. And I was like, okay, that makes sense to me now.
Do you... Sorry for butting in here.
That's right. You carry on. You're going to get bloody worded edgeways otherwise.
Because the people are watching, they know I kind of get a bit carried away. Like, can I get my bit in? Do you, obviously you being a medium and whatnot, do you feel that you get judged a lot because there's so many people in the paranormal field now that believe that they've got ability when they don't?
Sometimes. No, I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes, like a lot, I run events myself, but I don't tend. We were talking about this last time, and I don't always work on my own events.
Mm-hmm.
Not mediumship wise. I'm there as an investigator. If the group that I'm running, if that's the sort of thing they're into and they're interested, then I will work.
Mm-hmm.
But you do. I am. I'm not a very confident person in myself, but when I do that, it's like this switch comes on and I'm a completely different person. And I come across as very confident, totally opposite. But yeah, you do. I do. Whether I'm doing it in the paranormal, whether I'm doing an investigation, whether I'm doing a platform event, I do find that people can be very judgmental. And I've had people in the past that literally question absolutely everything that you say.
Right.
To try and disprove what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. I think it's along the same lines. I've not got any of the abilities, but there is times where I might get that kind of sense. But I'm more just investigating, obviously try to get as much evidence. But I think because the paranormal world is getting bigger now through social media, is a big part of it. That a lot of people that follow suit, so to speak, and a lot of them don't know what they're doing. But sometimes I feel that on a personal note, that I'm getting judged, not by my team or other teams, just maybe people that are watching live, because there's so much fakery and so much. Oh, I seen this when they did me, and a lot of stuff like that. I think it's quite hard in the paranormal world now than what it was 10 years ago, say. So I'd imagine it's probably the same for you. Also, there's so many people that say this ability that they can see things and speak to the dead when they really can't. But I think that must be hard on you because obviously people like yourself that has got the ability, like the investigator in my team, David, his daughter's got the ability, and we took her to location and she told us every single thing that matched up. And it's a shame as well because these people that has got the abilities like yourself, and then you get people that don't have the abilities, it ends up in a way giving the people that has got the abilities a bad name, if that makes sense. Not a bad name, but
judged, I know what I know what you're saying. It is, but the thing is for me as well, I found it hard. I found it hard anyway as well because the team I went to work for, she's the first team I worked for HD Paranormal, obviously owned by Jane Harris. So that was my first ever paranormal team. So, and I used to be down as the medium for the team. So, which I was, that's what I was there for. But yeah, it was a lot of pressure, especially because of the team that I was working for. And obviously already got a reputation, very well respected. Everyone knows who they were. And then there's just like this random woman that no one's ever heard of. All of a sudden, she's the medium on the team. That's how I saw that other people saw it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Let's face it, anybody can put their hand up and say, I'm a medium. You know, the big thing that I've noticed is you get these people who say they're a medium, but they're not really think they're a medium, you know, and they'll tell their friends that they've got abilities as well. And their friends will start to believe they've got all these, you know, different abilities. Diane put a question. I'm going to give this question to Vonne because she's sitting there in the corner, all quiet and snubbed. Right? Is it hard to communicate with someone so recently passed? What do you think, Vonne?
Well, me personally, I think that's more a question for Karen because even though I'm, where's he gone? Even though I am having development and I do practice my development, I never admit that I have them sort of. I will say, I won't even call them skills for me. It's more of, I'm too early on for me to be able to say that I'm still testing myself. I wouldn't I personally, at the moment, I'll say out with people I trust. I'll say what I feel, but otherwise I don't, because I don't feel that I'm a medium, or even though I've been told I am, but I don't confess to being one, because I think you need a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and you have to practice yourself. You have to be able to develop it as you're going along.
You see, I can totally relate to that, because I can pick. I'm not a medium or a sensitive. I'm not that, but I can pick up on spirit. Sometimes it can be weeks apart, you know, and maybe somewhere. It could be anywhere, and I'll pick up on somebody beside us or over in the corner, you know, whatever. First podcast ever. I don't know what a podcast is. No idea. The guy introduced me as a medium, and I says no. I says I'm not a medium. I'm not a medium. I'm not a sensitive. I'm just, you know. And I've been asked a few times, what is a medium? How do you know you're not a medium? See, because I just know I'm not a medium. You know, I think if I was a medium, I'd pick up on it constantly. Does that make sense? I'd be just going quiet.
I don't.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading the comments. Sorry.
Maybe with Karen, she'll get it more often than what I do. But I'm like, I get it in different ways. I get it in like dreams. I can get it in like as though it's a film playing out. You know, like an old black and white thing. I get
that on investigations.
Yes, I do.
It's like watching a film reel. I get that on investigations more so. I don't get it so much when I'm doing readings and stuff, but when I'm on investigations, I tend to. We went to the Fleece, and I just told them this whole scenario that I was watching and everything else. And afterwards, there was another medium there with us, like a friend of mine, and he went, yeah, he said blah 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 blah, and his cousin googled everything I said. Obviously, some of the stuff didn't come up, but some of the stuff that I was talking about did come up, because I was talking about stuff that had nothing to do with the pub and all of that. Why we were there, it was a completely different era in time, totally. So I was like, I was like, after 9 o'clock, I was like, I might be chatting shit, but I'm just going to tell you what I'm getting and what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing and what I'm hearing. So I'm just going to tell you everything. And this was just like a team share night. And she went away and she looks it all up and everything after, and then she come back to me.
I had similar to that at the Den at Barry's. I can't think of his name now. Come on, Scott. Barry Frankish. It is Den.
Oh, I love Barry Frankish. Yeah, carry on. Sorry.
I went to the Den when he opened the Den, and I experienced totally different to anybody else in the room. And it was nothing. I've never heard anything back, because it was just collating anything that anybody picked up on. But mine was a totally different scenario to what even the era of when it was happening. I totally had this vision. I could see the people in it. I could see the animals in it, everything. And I still stick to my word to this day that's how it used to be at some point in time.
What about photographs? What I used to find, it's not happened to me recently, but I could look at photographs, maybe, an old church or so, and tell you that, the history of the place. Or there was one photograph I looked at, it was an old church, and I says to the girl who sent me, I says there's a man and a young boy in that photograph, and over to the right hand side there's a mass grave, and it's a plate grave. And she went away and done some research, and she came back. She says, you were spot on. There is plague victims buried just outside of that. They weren't buried in the actual churchyard, just outside the churchyard that they buried these plague victims. He says, and there is a headstone to a father and son, right round about where you said the man in the butler. So what about photographs? You ever look at photographs and get things off of that.
Yeah, I've done that in development. I've done it the odd times, and I can pick things up if I'm in a situation. It could be any time. It could be whether I'm sat at home or out and about, or like you say, in a place. But you just get this. You can just pick up on things that are there. But even I'm not convinced it's correct. I have to go back and check it.
I'm still like that.
This is what happens. Oh, really? I've got a long way to go then, Karen.
Except I turned 40 yesterday. I've been doing this now. Oh my God, that was how old. I've been doing it for 35 years. I've known I can do this, but I will never take anything. Even personally, I will not take anything I say as gospel, because at the end of the day, I still need to challenge myself, and I still need. Even to now, I still need reassurance sometimes that I'm not chatting crap, and like what I am saying is making sense to someone. Especially like when you do like not investigating so much, but when you're doing a platform night and you have the naysayers and the people that come because their friend wants to come and they've just come along just because they've brought their friend or come with them, and they're really not interested, they don't want to be there, and they just say no to everything you say, and they come to you at the end of the night and go, oh, you know, earlier when you were saying blah blah blah, I think that was for me, can I have the message now? No, you can't, because the connection's gone. You should have not said no earlier, and you try and push and push and push. And now I've got to the stage where I don't even bother trying to push anymore. If they give me more than 2 no's, I'll go, fine, I'm moving on, because so many times it's happened where they just didn't want to talk to you in front of everyone else, and then they want it at the end of the night, and it's like, it doesn't work like that.
See, it's just, I think mediumship is, I have nothing against mediums at all. Don't have anything against mediums. It is can be a bit of a minefield, I think, as Ricky was saying earlier on, about these ones that claim they're a medium and tell other people, you definitely got a gift, and it's growing and growing. My concern about that kind of thing is if they go to somebody's private house, and start
which I have done in the past myself, and wow. Paid through the nose. Yeah. Paid through the nose for, obviously I won't name and shame, but I've been to 2 different people over the years. It's, as my mum would say, it cost me a pretty penny, shall we say. And there was nothing bloody pretty about it when I left, because nothing made any sense at all. And I thought, it's going to be one of those readings that it'll make sense later on, because sometimes things do. It's because it hasn't happened yet. I thought it makes sense. Later on. And these 2 individuals I went to years apart, it never made sense later on. 10 years down the line, it still hasn't made sense. And all I think is, bloody, how much money did I spend for that?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's money. And I know Rigger will agree with me on this. There's a lot of teams out there. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of teams that aren't. There's a lot of teams out there that are just money focused, and fame focused. And I think that makes them claim that one of them's a medium, because they know it'll attract attention. Does that make sense? Might sound like I'm gibbering.
That was. Thanks, AJ. Hi, Caroline.
Just saying hi to her. Yeah, but you know what I mean? They're more focused on the money side and the fame side than being, thinking, well, am I a medium? Do I have an ability? Or just taking somebody's word for it? Because, if they get in a private house, and it could be an elderly person, it could be somebody who has, issues, different kind of issues, and they're getting in and they're telling them that, their great granddad's here and all that. It's the kind of damage that it can do to that person in the house. They could go away, 2-year-old woman, and they get some clown in there saying, it's your late husband, he's here, and he says hello, or whatever, or it's demonic. You know, I think that's a favourite one these days. It's demonic. And so they leave this
Everything's
all
demonic. Did you not know?
Sorry, no.
I said everything's demonic. Did you not know? Or negative?
Yeah.
Aye.
If it's in your house, it's demonic, or it's negative, or it's both.
Yeah. See, people think I'm going to say crazy, but I'll say strange, because when we come across, we never really class it as demonic or anything like that, but I'll always say I'd like to come across something like that. I know that sounds strange, and a lot of people are like, oh no, but
no, but it doesn't, because you want to, because you're an investigator and you want to investigate everything.
Aye, like I'll say, like, let me feel what you feel. You know what I mean? Like, enter. Like, I'm open to it. And a lot of people, oh no, you can't do that, and I'm like, how? Like, it's I'm not really one for grounding and stuff like that as well. I believe if a lot of people do some grounding or whatever before you investigate stuff, I'm not like that, because I believe if there is a strong spirit there, say demonic or whatnot, they're strong enough to get through that and get you. If they want to communicate with you or go in your soul, so to speak, they're gonna. But at the end of the day, like, be honest, it's not really Hollywood. You know what I mean? Very rarely you'll ever come across something like that. But it's not to say I might go on Saturday with Scott and a demonic spirit might get me, you know. But that's what comes with it. I talked to my partner like this, and she's like, "Don't you bring anything home with you?" It's mental.
That's a good way to look at it, Rigger. You know, I may go to Scott on Saturday and pick up a demon. I mean, thanks for that, Rigger. You know.
But we'll try and get, if there is a demonic or an evil entity or whatever, we'll try and provoke them a bit to get them, if we believe they are, to try and get them out. There's no point in the end of the day that I got to investigate with a strong mind, and I always make sure that the spirit knows that I'm in control, or the team's in control.
And that's the most important thing. If you're going to work in this field in any capacity, then you need to make sure you do we all know that sat here. That's what you need to do, because at the end of the day, you are in control. They're not in control. And
I think that's basically my grounding. So I know a lot of people will do what they're doing or a wee thing before they investigate or whatnot.
I used to, but at the beginning I did. But that's because of when I did my development, who I developed with. I started my development in church. So I went from church to then a reverend, and then she taught me. So because of the background that I'd been, educated then, shall we say, that was the done thing to do, that you did the grounding, did the protection, did all the rest of it and all of that. And I did that for probably the first few months, and I was like, I'm doing this, and I'm shutting myself. And I was finding that I was actually shutting myself down more, rather than actually just grounding myself.
Yep.
And I was like, screw that, I'll sort it out later. I'm like, I want an experience. I want an experience. I don't just want to do what I do. I want an experience. I want to get an EVP. I want tech to work, because I love all my tech and stuff. I've got like Ovilus 3, I've got a 5, I've got spirit radios that have been built for me. I've got, you name it, I've bloody probably got it, because I like all that side of things as well. Because you can't just go off the word of someone. And you can't always trust Kit, don't get me wrong. I know that as well. We all know that. But it's nice to have a backup, isn't it?
Yep.
That's how I look at it.
Sometimes we'll get a lot of equipment, but we've not done it yet. But we've spoke about it, and it's maybe just good like an EVP and maybe a cat ball, spirit ball, or whatever. K2, see, just with less activity, because I think in some investigations, if you've got too much activity, it can confuse too much equipment. Sorry, it can confuse the spirits. So if you're going with less as possible, they really only get certain things that they can communicate with, and then hopefully one of the things will be us. you know. But I think with too much equipment, they're kind of confused. Oh, what's this like? What's this? What does this do? What does this do? Or whatever. But if you're just going to be simple things, EVP and a K2, say, there's a possible chance that you might get more activity or more communication.
I don't know about you, but I tend to do like key. Oh, sorry, Yvonne.
No, sorry, I just said definitely. I agree with him. The less equipment, the better.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to use key pieces. So certain areas, say like the last investigation we did in the one area, we the public just used their kit, put into little groups. So in one large room, went into little groups, and they used their own bits of kit. And then went to another area, and we used the spirit radio. And that's what was set up in there. If they wanted to use it, they used it. If they didn't, they didn't. It was fine. Like another group, they just had like 5 or 6 K2s on the table. And we're trying to get them all to go off at the same time and do the same thing. That's what they were doing. So that's what I tend to do. I like key pieces in certain areas. You can move it, obviously, but that's what I tend to do. So then at least then you've got a different bit of kit in each area rather than taking everything around. And then if it's there, if they want to use it, if they don't want to use it, they just want to call out and go old school or do a board or whatever, then let's just give people options.
That's it. It's when it's all going at once. When it's all going at once, you can't hear what's in the environment itself. And it just all overtakes.
I watched a guy one night on a live,
everything.
And he went to Greyfriars, and he was doing an investigation. He went to one of the tombs in Greyfriars, one of the open ones, and he must have had every bit of tech under the sun set up in this one wee tomb. Okay, so, you know, he put his camera and he showed everything. It was an SAS commando. This guy, do you know what I mean? He had everything under the sun. And I'm thinking, and it was all right next to each other, as if he just picked a corner and said, right, I'm going to put all my stuff in there. And I'm sitting there thinking, what are you doing?
Which bit do you want them to use?
I mean, 20 different. It's like a kid, you know what I mean? Right, sounds stupid, but it's, can I say in print, you take a kid in a sweetie shop and there's a big shelf of sweets. They take ages to choose, they don't know what to pick. If they limit their choice, you know, they'll pick some. But this guy had everything. I'm thinking, would you want the spirit today? You know.
Yeah. So I take a lot of kit, but then what I do is I'll ask like the public, and I say to them, look, this is what we've got. Is there any key pieces that you'd like to use that you've not used before or you like using? And that's what we do. And I just give them bits, whatever it is they want to use, then that's what they take off with them.
I mean, we don't have a lot of kit. I'll put my hands up. We've got 4 video cameras and we get cat balls, take 2 meters, laser, stuff like that. You know, so it's like basic stuff we got. Because we're the big. It's not that we're Scottish. We're quite tight money-wise, you know. But I'm in the basic thinking. If a spirit wants to communicate with you, it can do it with a cat ball or a K2 meter, rather than spend £200-300 on, you know, no offense to these people that use them. Everybody's different, but spend £3 on a cat ball. A spirit can communicate with a cat ball just as well as it can with a £300 bit of kit. You know, so we go with the basics. We started using a compass and a wee wooden train set as well. Just basic things.
Just basic. I've got a unicorn. Everybody laughs at this. I don't know why. I think it's a bloody great idea. I've got a unicorn. It's a little pink unicorn, and it's one of those kids' flashy toys. You know, you have to whack it hard for it to actually go off and light up. But that's actually. I'll show the public. I'll like whack it on something and say like, this is how hard you have to hit it for it to actually light up or do anything. And it has actually gone off in the past. I only put maybe 3 times. But it has gone off at certain places, and I've got a dog as well. I've got this. It's not a paranormal piece of kit. It's literally just a child's toy. It's a sensor. You either have to stroke it. You have to either pat it or stroke it or walk, or walk within. Like, I think it's about 2 foot or something of it for it to go off. So we just put it in a corner of a room somewhere, and then it starts bloody barking and all sorts. But obviously, it's sensor activated or touch activated, and it's just a normal kid's like toy, 3+. But it's just a cuddly toy. That's all it is. And I'll tell you what, that's worked well before, different places.
I've got a yellow ball that I'll say I borrowed off my daughter. Just a yellow and red ball. It's quite, maybe a bit smaller than a football, say. And it's got animals around it. And you've got to physically push one of the animals, so it's like a pig, a horse, whatever. Oh, yeah. But once you push the animal, it'll start lighting up, and then the ball will spin. But I brought it in so many investigations, and it's never went. But I like that because when it does eventually go, which it will, then I can't put it down as 100% paranormal, but there's a good chance it has been, because the only way to manipulate it is if you physically push one of the animals, and the animals are easy to push, but in abandoned locations that you could get like a mouse or something that might run into it or whatever. But I tend to take that a lot. And when I was speaking earlier about just going with the least amount of equipment, I would probably take a yellow ball just as the equipment, because then I can kind of concentrate on that yellow ball and try and get the spirit or the spirits or whatnot to touch the yellow ball. So you're just concentrating on that. But it will go eventually, and I hope I capture it.
That's why we decided to get. I think it was Sarah suggested the compass, and it's just a simple compass. I think it costs about £3 or £4. It's no work yet, but we're going to keep trying. And one day it might. You don't know that. I think that's what makes it more appealing as well. Investigating, because you don't know.
Well, again, I borrowed my daughter's guitar, just a wee pink guitar, and I done still in jail last year. And what I done is I just left it in a cell, and I left my EVP running, and I shut the cell door over, and it was just left the full investigation. I actually forgot I had EVP there. I nearly walked away and left it because it had just been there for hours. But again, I listened to it for hours and hours and hours, and about 20 minutes for the end, you actually hear the strings on the guitar going. You hear the strings going, and there was nobody in that cell. We were all up the stairs, concentrating up the stairs. That's where it was more activity, and we just left that. But I hear the strings and the guitar going. But it's something so simple, it's just a guitar. You could have got a £5 it was or whatever, and I just left it there, and you hear the strings and the guitar going.
It's when people spend all these hundreds of pounds on kit, and you spend £3 on a cat balls, and it works. Diane made a good point earlier on. I've known a couple of folk that have done this. The first started it, and then when they get that wee bit of fame or whatever, they decide to charge for their, for their services.
Okay, I charge if I do a 1-to-1 reading. I'll be honest, I charge £25 for like an hour to an hour and a half. But that's 9 times out of 10, or 5 or more, whatever, depending if I've got to travel. If I got to travel to someone's house, then I cover a little bit of my time, but mainly my bloody fuel, because it's like extortionate. But live readings, I've never ever charged for live readings, and that's personal. I'm not judging anyone. You do what you want. You do what you think is right for you. But I'll never charge for a live read. If I'm doing it, I'm doing it because I want to do it, not because I want you to pay me. If I want you to pay me, then you can book a 1-to-1 reading, and I'll come to your house. There's a bit of a difference.
If you go to travel, and if you're traveling,
excuse me, it's like you're drinking me coffee.
Then, especially the price of fuel these days, charging for live readings on. I mean, I know one person and charges you to chat here. It's something called Super Chat, and there's so many. I think there's 3 different levels to membership to a channel. She thinks she is, as we say in Scotland, a ticket. She thinks she's a witch and blah blah blah. She actually thinks I watched her doing a live. Sarah and I think it was months ago, and she says that she was the reincarnation of Maid Marian. on this live. She started saying, I am Maid Marian, I've reincarnated. And I'm sitting there watching thinking, Maid Marian never existed then. Maid Marian was made up to go with the Robin Hood. Robin Hood was based on a character, a real guy way back then, but Maid Marian was just added in to, juice up the legend a wee bit. So how can you be the reincarnation of somebody that's never existed? Do you know what I mean? And
I have no words.
No.
well, near to that, she says that, and whenever she goes into Sherwood Forest, the spirits bow down to her because of who she is.
Right.
Oh,
But she,
Okay.
wow. How do you do that? That's not a skill I've got.
I mean, I always thought reincarnation, the person actually had to exist at some point in time, but no, seemingly Maid Marian, she's kicking about. But she charges, I think it's 3 different membership levels, and it's like £5 to £10 to like £17 to chat to her on her YouTube channel.
That'd be interesting to see how they bow down to her.
Well,
I wonder how she picks up on that.
It's a shame as well because these people that are listening, it's to people that are basically talking crap. It's you think what's going on in their brain as well. They're getting advantage took of them. You know what I mean? And they're believing this.
That's the scary part.
But it's like there's a lot of groups as well, like investigating or whatever, ghost hunting groups, and it's send stars, and this and that, and I'm a strong believer. Like I'll always say it, and I've always said I actually think the people in the team are sick of hearing it, but I always believe when you get down that road, just like for investigating point of view, that the paranormal becomes second, the money becomes first. So you're looking to make things more entertaining, so then you can get more people watching that will then send more stars, which is money, I think. But that's all they're kind of concentrating on, is how much money can we make tonight. Paranormal second, but I'll never go down that road because it's paranormal's always first. We've been to so many private locations, and the owners have turned around and offered us money, and I've said, well, we're not taking any money off you, and they've stood there shocked. And they went, you are the first people that said that. And I says, we're not here to make money, we're just here to... on a personal note, I want to find out what it's like when you pass away, because I'm going to end up there one day, so I want to kind of try and gather as much evidence and proof and whatnot as possible, as much as possible, and get myself prepared for it, so to speak. But I would never get in the road of charging somebody to investigate a property or send stars or anything like that, because then I believe the paranormal's just... That's just second, money's the first thing, but I would never go down that road. But again, it's entirely up to these people.
I would charge them a cup of coffee. I said, give a wee cup of coffee in my square. Maybe a wee chocolate digestive, throw that in, and it's a sweet deal. But I mean, Mark says there, people will believe it. That's the trouble, Mark. People do believe this.
Mm-hmm.
They believe that she was Maid Marian. And then a few months later, she was getting abducted by aliens. Well, her spirit was, she was still in the house. She done this on a live, I know. She kind of disappeared up to some alien ship. But she was sitting on her bed. And she came back and people were saying, so what was it like? And she was saying, well, these tall figures in long black cloaks and stuff. And and her eyes were...
I'm so sorry. I couldn't hold it in any longer.
The eyes were rolling into the back of the head, and our co-host was saying, "No, she's there. That
happens to me, but normally because I'm drunk."
Aye, that's usually you're at your face. That's when the eyes go to the back of the head.
Yeah.
Scott, at any point
it's time to go home.
At any point did she pull out a crack pipe? No.
Seriously,
I was thinking more of a van with square wheels myself.
And then when she finally came back, she's like, "What happened?" The usual in the movie. What happened? What happened? So, well, you buggered off to the mothership for 10 minutes there, hen. And then you came back. They must have done all the wee experiments and sent her back. You know, she's no good. She's done nothing. But what is massive? Folk can believe in this.
Aye. That's the thing.
I mean, as I say again, they made Marion one. That ended me. You know, I just.
It's a shame, though. Do you know what? It generally it is a shame that some. No disrespect to anyone. This is no judgment to anybody. I don't want to be disrespectful for anyone, but it is a real shame because some people want to believe so much that they will do anything to believe. They watch all these things and everything else because they're unfortunately some people are just so desperate to believe in something or to have something proven to them that they will be. And it is a real shame because it is really sad because when you have people like you were saying earlier, when you have people like that, the unfortunate thing is people that are actually genuine like get dismissed also. And that is really sad that some people hold on to that, want to do that belief so much, and they're so desperate to believe in something that they go with it and they get drawn in, and it is a real shame.
See, I know I'm going on about it, but you know, there's that many things. Where do you end? You know, one of our friends thinks that George Mackenzie's a friend of his. You know, goes to her. You know who George Mackenzie was? Tell me you know who George Mackenzie was. Karen, come on. She doesn't know, does she? Brigger knows. The Mackenzie poltergeist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I knew the bloody hell, George.
George Mackenzie. It was the Lord Chief Advocate to Charles II. And when the Covenanters were defeated at Bothwell Brig, they were brought to Greyfriars and put in. It was just Fields then, but they were put in. It's called the Covenanters prison. George Mackenzie was given the job by the King to deal with them, basically to get rid of them.
Ah, okay.
He was responsible for the.
I'm not much on my history. I'm not very good on my history. Ask Penny Griffiths Morgan; she tells me all the time.
Right. But this individual's got another friend who's convinced that George Mackenzie visits her at home. And I watched one of her lives one night, and she was on. I think it was the Spirit Box. He's here. George is here. And about 10 minutes later, right? Well, he's gone now. So his bus must have been due or something. You know, because she stays about 50 miles to Edinburgh. So quite a trek, you know.
Scott, was you paying for all this?
Sorry, though.
I says, was you paying for all this, Scott, to listen to this?
No, I'm not paying. I don't even pay to watch my telly. Don't tell the BBC. But no, he was there for about 10 minutes and he buggered back off the Greyfriars. He must get fed up. You know, Saturday night, what day is the night? I'll go to such and such tonight, see how she's doing. And then I'll be not long, but I'll be back. You know, and people are sitting there and I'm watching the comments and they're saying, oh, wow, that's amazing. I wish I was there with you. Well, I mean, Mackenzie Poltergeist was made up as well. You know, the name Mackenzie Poltergeist was made up for the purposes of a book that was written about Greyfriars. But, and to me, I often ask.
Oh, Mark, you do crack me up.
It's funny.
He's a nice bloke. He is funny.
You think, where does the line end? You know, where does it stop? Where do we start? Where do we cross from ludicrousy back into being normal?
What's
and
normal?
This other individual with the Mackenzie, she actually said she was a qualified paranormal investigator and she had a badge to show.
I think, sorry again for butting in here. I think it's at the stage now where a lot of people are going down the entertainment road, like on Facebook Live, say, and genuine people Right, so these people are the entertainment purposes are maybe getting like, say, 100, 200 people watching a live, but yet genuine people only get like 5 because they don't see it as entertaining but what they're really seeing is people that's got a true passion for it, and that's what the paranormal's all about. It could take, you go to an investigation, it could take 2 hours just to get one of the spirit boys to go,
Yeah.
or fluctuation in the K2.
You might get nothing at all.
I was going to
And
say
then
nothing
entertainment
at all.
purposes, it's straight away. So these people find it, and they believe that it's real when it's not. The real side of things is, as you said the other night, Scott, it's like fishing. You can go and fish for 10 hours and catch nothing. You can go and fish for an hour and catch 10 fish. And that is what it's all about. It's you need to be patient, but you can't go into a location and get, every time you go, get activity, high-end activity all the time, and that's what makes it so hard in the paranormal world. Because then these people that, people that don't believe they're genuine, like ourselves, like we're always a genuine team, and if something's not paranormal, we'll say it's not paranormal, it's debunked. But on the entertainment side of things, with other groups, they class it as paranormal when they could debunk it, but they choose not to. And it's hard for genuine teams. Not to get their name out there, but just to show what it's all about. Like, I'll always offer people to come out on the group, so then they can genuinely see what we're like as people, firsthand. But it's a shame. It's a shame it's going down that road.
But on the other hand, sorry,
Vonne, on you go.
No, I was just to say, on the other hand, it depends. Like, I don't care what anybody else is doing. Not in a negative way. I just think let them get on with it. I don't get involved in any of the drama or anything. I like to watch teams that I feel are genuine. Obviously learn from a lot. And what I experience is my journey. It's my way, and as long as I believe it, I'm not bothered.
Exactly.
It sounds ignorant and awful.
No, we'll say it in the team as well. It doesn't matter who doesn't believe what we've captured or that, as long as we know and we believe that we've captured it. But it is hard to prove it now, if that makes sense. Like, because there's so many people that's want to do the paranormal stuff, and then they might start off genuine, and then they might get bored because they're out in the freezing cold, or it's raining, they're soaking wet, and they're starting to get bored. So they think, oh, we'll do this, and that'll be a bit more entertaining, and then we'll go live, and then that's when they go to send stars, and it does it. It destroys it for genuine people. But at the end of the day, when we go out, as long as we know what we've captured or who we've come into communication with or whatever, that's what matters.
See, we don't do lives and stuff. Like, Rachel might do a live when we get to location. She might do a walk around inside, like this is where we are tonight or whatever, on a public event. She might do that at the beginning of the night, but that's why we're meeting and greeting the guests and stuff. She'll go off for a little wander and do that and show everybody around where we are that evening. But even though when we go out just as a team or whatever, or on a team share, I don't like cameras anyway. I don't mind doing this sort of stuff, just having a chat, and I can chat for England, as you can tell. But when it comes to actually going out investigating and doing like filming and lives and stuff, it's just, for me personally, it's just not my thing. Don't get me wrong. I've got an exclusive location that I do near home, and I had the West London Paranormal guys come up, and we've been trying to work together for a long time, and they said, can we film? And I was like, yeah, you can film, that's fine. He said, like, and we'll show you the video before we put it out. Is that okay? They didn't do it as a live. They filmed all night from 7 till 2, and then I think they had about 45 minutes footage out of it, but that was them talking as well. I don't mind doing that for them, but personally, I don't really like that.
See, we go live, but what I found out when we first started going live, we weren't planning to go live. We were just kind of documenting it for our own sake. But we chose to go live, and maybe for the first investigations, it seemed like you were too busy concentrating on where the phone's situated. Are you getting a good enough signal? You're back and forward to the comments, and it was taking the whole paranormal side of things out the way, the investigation out the way. You're too busy trying to concentrate on the phone, but we've adjusted to that. But the reason why we go live is because we're a strong believer of whoever's in our group on Facebook. We like to give them the best experience possible. So we're going live, they can kind of see and feel like they're participating in the investigation. Plus, it'll give us a wee extra set of eyes, so to speak. But I did find that when we first went live, for the first couple of investigations, we were too busy trying to get a signal. And investigation would plan maybe start at 9 o'clock, but because we're going live, it might be 10 o'clock because you're too busy trying to we can't get a signal here. We'll move to this area, the location, and it did become a pain, but we've kind of adjusted to it now. But
don't get me wrong, I watch them. I just don't like participating in them personally. Yeah, like I said, cameras and all that sort of stuff. That's just not my thing. I don't like it. I get really embarrassed and stuff. I'm like, I don't like that sort of thing. But I got no issue with anybody else in the team if they want to do it. Like Gary, who comes with us, blooming heck, you can't take that man anywhere without him having a blooming camera in his hand and like his phone in his hand and filming. Doesn't matter where we go or what we're doing. He always does lives. That's his thing. He enjoys doing it. Not a problem. I don't mind him doing it. I might just don't record me because I don't want to be on it.
Definitely.
But the public events now, I don't have lives at all. That's our Gemma. He's always going live long. He's all about Gary. See, she's agreeing with me because Gemma's part of Lost Soul Paranormal, but Gemma's also part of my team, Keep Paranormal. So yeah, he does the same with them. He does it everywhere he goes. But like I said, I don't mind that. But when it's like public events, I try to get people to refrain from doing it on a personal thing because my personal opinion when we're doing a public event is the people that are there have paid to be there. They're the paying public. They've paid for their ticket. They've paid to be there. Why would we live stream out to the public that haven't paid to be there? I understand on like points of view with another set of eyes and ears and everything else. But for me, I like when we do a public event, I want the public that are there to have an experience and to feel that they've been looked after, that, you could do whatever you possibly can for them and, they enjoy their evening. Personally, I just don't like sticking a camera in front of their face or whatever. But that's not a different thing. If it's just a normal night, like it's just us or a team show or whatever, then go for it. I don't care. You got 10, 15 cameras, put as many as you want on. Do as many live feeds as you want all night. I haven't got an issue with that. But yeah, I would just a blanket, like I have a personal blanket ban on public events.
We tend to go live whenever possible. What would I give you saying? We were the exact same when we first started out,
It's frozen.
He's frozen. Gemma's just put, I feel like cameras detract from the experience in a public invest, and that's why we don't do it, our Gemma.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's back.
He's back. I'll stop taking over his show.
He's all disappeared for a second. What happened there?
You froze.
I thought you get beamed up. I thought you get sucked up by aliens.
Oh, I knew one of them would have to say it.
I've been back in 10 minutes anyway. Once they've done the calls. But I agree with Riggy. We like going live because, you have people watching, and sometimes you might only get people, but they're part of the investigation as well, and they can see what's going on. Does that make sense? And just let's say in spirit did it. It was George McKenzie that done it. As we go get fired.
It wasn't Maid Marian. Anyway, moving on.
Moving swiftly along off of that one. There's lawsuits paranormal. I think I'm talking to them next one time. I'll be meeting the lovely Gemma then. I forgot what I was saying. So we like to go live because it involves people in the experience as well. And it lets them see what we're seeing or maybe hearing. And it is good to have another set of eyes because we've had one or two occasions that somebody in the chat picked up on something. You know, they've turned out to be spot on kind of thing. And it's something we didn't know. Probably should be asked anyway. We film these private but it's these. I've watched some lives and they're just so. Yeah, next one was so paranormal. It's when you get to the unprofessional bit and they're swearing and smoking and all the rest of it on camera and all. That annoys me. Don't get me wrong. I've been caught out having the odd wee fag, you know, but I didn't know they were live. But what I mean is, they don't. I'm not putting smokers doing because I'm a smoker. What I mean is, they don't take it serious.
I mean, when they're in locations, on location, actually investigating and doing it.
Aye, and every 2 minutes it's a laugh to them, you know, or they're standing there feeding each other. I'm not talking about Smarties or Mars bars. I'm talking about information, you know. Coffee supper. It's your turn for the Mars bar. There we go. I had the Smarties the last time. You take that. You know what I mean? No, I've had enough tonight. The first supper. You carry on, dog. Anyway, get away with the track here. It's when they're saying, "Aye, did you see there's a man over there?" Aye, I saw him as well. I need a white jacket. Aye, I was just going to say.
Power of suggestion, isn't it? That's what it is. Someone says something, and then somebody else will. Let's put it this way. I went on an investigation once. I went in to pay a member of the public, and obviously didn't tell them what I did or anything else. And the person that was there, that was the working medium, he led people, you know how they get, getting people to feed information and making suggestions and this, that, and the other. And it's like someone said, "Oh, I feel a cold breeze." Did you feel that? Yeah. Did you? Yeah, I think I felt it too. I think it went past you and it passed me and passed it. But did you? Or did you think you felt it because they told you that they felt it and it went in your direction? I'm not saying it's completely wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everyone does that. But there is a lot of power of suggestion when you're on events, especially on public events, I find. They kind of tend to run with things sometimes. But like, not everybody does it. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it is. They have all felt like exactly the same thing, especially if they all come out and say they all felt it exactly the same time and they all come out with it at the same time. That's a little bit different. But
that's happened to us. You know, the rest of the team here, the sharp one, take a breath once at a location. I never heard. I heard something else. Maybe I'm just special. I don't know. But the rest of them all heard this breath at the exact same moment. I think there was maybe 5, 6 of them all heard it, and they all reacted at the same time. And I was kind of the odd one out. I was up in the mothership. I don't know, but and we all heard it at the same time. Well, I never heard it. It was like one night we done a castle up here, and there was 5 of us, and 4 of them saw this grey shape like mist come by what used to be a window. I never seen it. We all seen it, and I never. I thought, well, what's wrong with me? How can I not see it? Because I did have the specs in that one. But the other end of the spectrum is, again, no disrespect to them, but you get the teams that are too serious. You know what I mean? Go an investigation and there's not one bit of humour or light energy or anything.
No, we're a nightmare for that.
Right.
Like a bit of banter and a bit of a laugh. You've got to build the energy. Yeah. It's not being disrespectful. There's having a laugh and a joke between yourselves and whatever else, in lifting the energy and having that little bit of a humour and a bit of a laugh and a giggle and all that, and all that sort of banter and stuff. You need that sometimes, especially when it's flat and nothing's happening, and it's not mucking about or being disrespectful in any way. We'll have a bit of a laugh in that because we're like, well, nothing's going on. We might as well just have a little chat between ourselves. And you find sometimes when you do that, you're having a chat amongst yourselves, is when you'll pick up evidence and you'll get stuff happening because you're basically ignoring them because you're talking to each other instead.
Aye, so they get, and sometimes you watch them, and you just want to go to your own funeral watching these folk. You're sitting there, and that's how bad it is. But I think the light of the energy. Let's face it, Spirit needs a laugh as well. There's Rigger, he's disappeared again. He did this the other night. He'll be back. The Spirit needs a laugh as well. In my mind, I might be wrong saying this.
My phone keeps, so apologies, my phone keeps that crackling noise every so often, so I need to leave and then come back in. It's a pain.
I just keep getting pop-up stuff like Microsoft Teams and stuff just keep coming up on mine for some random reason. I don't even use it and it keeps popping up and opening. It's never open. It's not even logged in. But since we've been on here, it's come up more than once and it's open for me to start a chat. I'm not logged into it.
I lost you though again there. We seem to be having a wee glitch or two. I don't know what the thing is. I would fix it the Scottish way, as in unplug it for the wall for 2 minutes and then plug it back in. But that's not going to work.
Isn't that just the normal way? Don't we all do that? Or kick it.
The Scottish invented it.
Throw it.
Of course they did that.
Used to be singing bowls.
Singing bowls.
They laughed and joked in their lives with humour. Humour is important. You need to kind of say, I think.
No.
It's frozen again. I use singing bowl sometimes. I do take singing bowl sometimes and use that.
I quite like the singing bowls.
But that's disappeared again there.
Yeah, you froze again.
You went off to Maid Marian that time.
I thought you were going to come back with an alien wrapped in a towel on your first fight.
One of these green blow-up ones you get to Blackpool.
Guys, I'm going to have to apologise and scoot off.
Right, I think we'll wind up there anyway, folks. Because we seem to have
I've got a meeting with America. Started 9 minutes ago.
I'll let you go there now then, Cap. I'm just going to wind up anyway. I'm just going to get Vonne.
Nice to speak to you, Riga. Nice to see you, Vonne.
You as well,
Thanks for
Karen.
everybody and listen to me ram it on and chew your ear off. It's much appreciated. And
good listening to it.
I have to catch up with you all at another time. But yeah, sorry, I'm 9 minutes late for my meeting.
Go for your meeting.
Now.
Go and do your meeting. She's a lovely lady. But I think we will wind up there, folks. We're having some glitches. I don't know why. But I'll keep a hold of you just for a wee minute or two after we come off. Before we go, you want to plug your channels and the usual stuff. Ladies first, as always.
Oh, it better be Rigger then.
Oh,
I'm not a lady.
Oh, that was snappy. That's a negative energy. You're right, Rigger.
Shut down.
That is like you. You have been burned.
I'll go first then. So I've got my own team on Facebook. You'll find us there at Scotland's Paranormal Investigations Group. We've also got our own another page where it's Paranormal Hangover, where it is we'll be discussing. We usually investigate on a Saturday. We'll do a discussion on the Monday. So it's just us basically filling in on what happens, personal notes as a team, what evidence that we captured. We'll play footage, EVPs, general chat, have a laugh. You'll find us there on TikTok as well, Spig, s.p.i.g. And also on Instagram is the same. And we'll live this Saturday, we're actually out with Scott, BIH, so we're out this Saturday, so that'll be a laugh. So, you'll find us.
What about you? Quite a few you. Yeah, Liz, you can plug your page and put your page in the comments though. Vonne, where can we find you?
On Facebook. That is enough for me. On Facebook, that is it. But I'll probably meet up with everybody out and about on my travels at some point. But can I just plug a couple of teams?
Yeah, fire
Because
around Liz.
one is Wings Paranormal, and one is Paranormal Path, and the other dimension. The other dimensions who I done with demonology and occultology with. They're all worth watching.
Paranormal
Joining
Path,
in with.
Jackson.
Yeah, exactly.
Lady.
Yeah,
Camper.
we go out.
Jacqueline loves her camping. She's got about 20 different tents, isn't she? She loves
Yeah.
going camping.
She's always buying a new one with the weather.
I know many tents just one woman needs. You always see pictures. New tent, so Jacqueline Camden, you know. She's go outdoors best customer, I think.
Yeah, she must be.
But we'll wind up there. We're back on. Well, I'm out tomorrow night. I'm going to take a wee wander around the necropolis in Glasgow.
Oh, share it.
I'll be doing it as a live. I will share it out. I've never walked through the entire place, but you know, I'm going to do it tomorrow night. So, and then we're out with Rigger on Saturday night. We are teaming up with Spig and Paranormal Exposures from Cat and William Armstrong from the other side of the pond. They were here about a month ago. We were out with them in person, and so we're going to do it as a live on a panel. Liz, no, the necropolis sits right in the middle of Glasgow. If you know where the Tennant's Brewery is in Glasgow, it sits behind that, just down the hill to the Royal Infirmary. You can't miss it, though. It sits in the hill. But if you know the brewery, it sits right at the back of the brewery. So that's going to be us. Thanks everybody for watching and coming in, putting your comments. We hope you enjoyed.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
And Rigger, and we'll talk to you all very soon. Oh,
Nice
and
chatting to you, Rigger.
before I forget,
You as well.
I was talking about plugging stuff. If you've not looked up Parapost, give Parapost a wee look. And also, Andy Murphy, Charlie Figondi, Duncan, myself, I started a new group called the Paranormal Collective Network. It's just with genuine people just doing what they love doing, the passion for the paranormal. Give us a wee look up. We only started about 3 days ago. We opened it, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've joined up to that.
I think Vonne and Rigger are both signed up already. We'll get their stars in the post, you know. We don't do stars or nothing like that. But give us a wee look up. Hey, that's us tonight, folks.
Scott,
And,
can I just ask quickly?
Yep.
You know, on that Paranormal Collective Network, can we share that to other people? Or do we have to go through you?
No, you talk about sharing the link out.
I was going to invite people to it.
You can invite people and then we just accept them.
Right, that's fine, then I'll do that.
My
Okay,
phone was going nuts yesterday afternoon and I think it was up 38.
Good.
38 or 48.
Well, you can take them all from mine if you want.
That's fine. I'll just, you know, if you just invite them, then
Yeah.
that's fine. I'll just sit there and bang. Because it comes up who invited them anyway.
Yeah.
If it's one or two that, you know.
Yeah, lovely.
No, fire away though. The more the merrier. All right, folks. So that's definitely us for tonight. And we shall see. I'll be in Glasgow, London tomorrow night. And then Saturday night, we'll be meeting up with this handsome chappie down here. And the rest of his team. And thanks, everyone. So we'll see you soon, folks. Take care.
Let's see you soon.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.